Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Ken Muich, Fibromyalgia Wellness Center, Stetson Chiropractic Clinic. It's Monday, it's 12:30, and we're going to be talking about something that a lot of you have questions about, and that is choosing the correct doctor for you that really has a proper understanding of fibromyalgia, of which very few really do. And I'm sorry to say that. Whether it be MDs, DOs, chiropractors, naturopaths, physical therapists, massage therapists. They have a kind of a general idea, but they really don't understand what fibromyalgia is unless they spent a lot of time reading about it and understanding. So let's take a look at some of the different doctors that are out there, and without naming names or anything else, obviously, but I've had these patients come in and tell me about their doctors. So first of all, the doctor who really believes in fibromyalgia. He believes in it, but they still use the allopathic form of treatment, which means medication, of course, maybe some physical therapy, maybe some psychiatric referrals, so forth and so on, because they believe in it, but they're into their allopathic form of treatment again, and that would be, again, the same things that I mentioned. Hi, Gail. The second form is the doctors who don't believe, and that is quite common, even though the National Institute of Health and all sorts of different groups have accepted fibromyalgia. And I mentioned to you the code M79.7 actually validates it as a disease or a condition or syndrome, whatever you want to call it. But again, those that don't believe, again, really are much more strict and stringent as far as the following the allopathic form of treatment. But it's also sort of like a dartboard. You know, they kind of they come in with all these symptoms, and they pick out those that I think that refer to the worst problem. If it's irritable bowel, then they'll treat the stomach. If it's rashes, then they'll do that, so forth and so on. Aches and pains in the shoulders, hips, joints, knees, so forth and so on. That usually refers to osteoarthritic or rheumatological conditions. By the way, we're talking about not just MDs and DOs, but rheumatologists, of which some still do not believe that fibromyalgia is a syndrome condition, whatever you might want to call it. And so what they do is they pick and choose the secondary conditions that fibromyalgia patients have. And that way they're treating those and not the fibromyalgia itself. Then you have doctors who don't know, and sometimes they want to care to know, sometimes they don't know, whatever. But for them, it's very, very frustrating. You know, they have to see a certain number of patients. They want to know what their problems are, and they want answers very, very quickly. Oftentimes they don't care, they don't listen to you. Meds are referred, and really they don't have a lot of time for you because they don't understand fibromyalgia. They don't want to deal with it. They've got too many other patients that are waiting, and so again, they'll find the easiest way out. So what can you do about this? Well, if you're going to have a doctor and he wants to treat you with fibromyalgia, ask him what the definition of fibromyalgia is for him, or does he understand it? Ask him what fibromyalgia means to him, and see if it fits anything that you might know concerning fibromyalgia. Any objective tests, ask him if there's any objective tests that he's going to run that will validate fibromyalgia. This is a kind of a trick question, see, because there are no objective tests that validate fibromyalgia. Sorry about that, but again, it's kind of a trick question. But if he starts going off on blood tests, what he's really looking for is secondary conditions, not fibromyalgia. How you find out about fibromyalgia is listening to the patient and all of their symptoms, and at least 3 months of continuous ongoing symptoms that moves all over the body, not just in one specific place. He's trying to, again, target a certain thing in your body if he doesn't know and understand about fibromyalgia. Also, if there's multiple doctors that you've gone to, explain to him what has not worked. He says, well, I'm going to give you this medication. No, it doesn't work. Lyrica. No, it doesn't work. Worked for a few days, and then boom, my symptoms came back worse. Well, we're going to try this. Well, that didn't work either, and so forth and so on. So know what has worked for you and what has not. And so if he's going to refer something to you, you want to tell him that that hasn't worked. Okay? Does he have another answer? probably eventually, if you give him enough of these things, he's going to say, well, I don't think I can help you. But I'm going to refer you to Dr. Jones, who's a psychiatrist, so forth and so on. Or I'll send you to a rheumatologist, and you say, well, I've been to him before, and they have a difficult time treating rheumatology itself. So you have to be a little bit aggressive as far as your approach toward finding a doctor that will treat you with fibromyalgia, that it is not just treating the secondary conditions that you have, of which I've mentioned over and over again. Every fibromyalgia patient has additional conditions, and they vary from osteoarthritis to MS to lupus to you name it, whatever it might be, diabetes, so forth and so on. So if they're going to treat the secondary conditions, say, okay, so you're not really going to treat fibromyalgia, you're going to treat all these other ones. Is that correct? Just be blunt. I mean, you can ask them. Doctors need to know that you have some knowledge about this subject. Of course, you could always call me, Dr. St. Amand in California, call me, text me, whatever. My clinic number, by the way, is 480-948-4955. 480-948-4955. That's my clinic number. You can text me or email me. You can text me with the phone number. Of course, you can email me at dcken2000@cs.com. That's D as in dog, C as in cat, Ken, K-E-N, the number 2000, that's 2000 at C as in cat, S as in Sam.com. I'll get back in touch with you as soon as I can. I usually get anywhere from 150 to 200 emails a day, believe it or not. So I try to get rid of as many as I can that are just sales things or whatever. And so if it takes an extra day to get back or so, bear with. Now, I have some surprises for some people and also for you. There were a number of questions that came out from prospective patients. And so I thought I would give them some answers, at least of what I know. So I'm going to be talking to, I won't use the last name, Lisa, concerning Sjogren's, Pamela, which is something I'd never heard of and I'm still looking at, Jesus shots, and then Jamie Michelle, and that's some bullying that she's getting from family. So let's take a look at Lisa's question about Sjogren's. She has Sjogren's and fibro. As I mentioned, again, every fibromyalgia patient has additional conditions. And so the question came up with Sjogren's. Sjogren's is an autoimmune disease. It's like having white blood cells that attack your body. And it causes all sorts of secondary problems. Now, you can have a light form of Sjogren's or you can have an aggressive form of Sjogren's. The more aggressive form usually involves such things as dry eyes and dry mouth. Those are probably the most common things. But a variety of other symptoms that go along with that. As far as the dry eyes, they suggest right away, somebody would say, well, put some drops in your eyes. That's not good for most people, especially Sjogren's people. As far as the dry mouth is concerned, I've heard a variety of different things, everything from cough drops to sips of water, so forth and so on. Dry eyes, dry mouth are forms of also a condition called Zika. And so that is a condition within a condition, so to speak. And so there's those are the primary things as far as Sjogren's are concerned. But the other things, and I have to just check here for just a moment because there's so many different things. Yeah, you're more susceptible to infections and has a variety of body issues that they call as far as the condition is. By the way, 90% of Sjogren people are females. Very, very interesting. But Sjogren's can be treated. There are treatable fashions. Ask your doctors. Those people, again, that concentrate on that condition will help you more so than many times just a general practitioner. So take a look at. There's also organizations concerning Sjogren's that you can look up and check and see what is the most common answers for your problems based upon the severity of your condition itself. The next would be, excuse me, Pamela. Pamela brought this thing out. Have you ever heard of a Jesus shot? get this shot, and apparently for I guess a couple weeks, couple months, whatever else, the symptoms go away, and you have a great grand old time. I have I don't have an idea what this entails, to be honest with you. I do not. So I'm still looking and still asking around to find out what this Jesus shot might entail. And so that's a real problem as far as getting this out. Now, as I mentioned to you before, ladies and gentlemen, that what happens is there are certain things that people can take or use or whatever that may give temporary relief. Apparently, this Jesus shot does not last forever, and it does return. The symptoms do return. But just to be free of pain and whatever symptoms you may have for any period of time would be a life saver, obviously. But again, our program deals with the condition and not the symptoms, and so consequently, ours has been more long-lasting. We've got patients that have been on it for decades and doing exceptionally well. Being out of pain, and being able to do their normal activities of daily living, whether it be taking walks or working or taking care of children, husband, whatever, wife, you name it. And so we've turned literally their life around. So I'm still looking for the Jesus shot to find out what it is and what is in a Jesus shot in itself. The third thing we're going to talk about today is from this young lady, I'm assuming, Jamie Michelle. And she says she's having trouble dealing with her sister, who bullies her and hits her and doesn't believe in her having fibromyalgia. Boy, I'll tell you, this is a real problem. You know, people can walk down the street, go into restaurants, whatever, can have fibromyalgia. You never know it. You can never know because, as I mentioned, you'd be better off with maybe a cast on your arm, maybe a couple dozen stitches somewhere where people could see them, whatever. But instead, fibromyalgia is one of these quiet conditions or diseases that is internal. You don't know it. People suffer within it, and it's very, very frustrating for them because they don't know how to explain to people what they really have. Many of you are undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. Many of you do have fibromyalgia. Somebody says, "What do you look? Why do you look like you do?" and so forth and so on. And then you try to explain to them what fibromyalgia is, and it's just very, very frustrating. But many of you have fibromyalgia, and you don't even know about it, or it doesn't really show. And that's very, very frustrating. So what do you do about somebody that is constantly asking you or questioning your abilities to do certain things because of this condition or this disease called fibromyalgia? Well, one of the things is that you can actually refer them to my website, fibrowellnesscenter.com, fibrowellnesscenter.com. I've got videos on patients that have gone through it, and they'll tell you how bad they were and what it entailed and their symptoms and so forth and how good they feel now. Another one, it would be, I'm not trying to sell anything, but get my book and have them read it. It's called Fibromyalgia, Falsehoods, Fakers, and Facts. And that explains a lot about what fibromyalgia patients go through, and what it entails. And that's why I wrote it, because of the frustration of all these different things that are out there that often just cost money and don't really help people. But the other thing is, believe it or not, have her call him or her call me, and I'll talk to them. I'll explain to them what it entails, and also the history and how National Institute of Health has accepted it and has given it a code and so forth. Those are extremely important. Those are extremely important because without a code, you really don't have a condition or a syndrome, okay? But now it is accepted, and so that's extremely important for each and every one of you that have fibromyalgia. So the bullying itself, it can be extremely frustrating. I don't know how old you are, Jamie Michelle. Teenager, you have parents, please explain to them what it entails, and maybe they can help with your sister or her friends, whatever else. And the other thing would be, obviously, I don't know how religious you are, but you could use your church and the priest or minister, whatever it might entail. Also, if you have a trusted doctor that is working with your fibromyalgia, you may want that doctor to talk to your sister and help explain to her what you're going through, and that it's not a game, and that she should have some empathy, at least as far as understanding what you're going through. The other thing is, since we have found that fibromyalgia is a genetic involvement, that she may have a form of fibromyalgia, but it has not shown up to any great degree yet, until maybe she has some physical, emotional, chemical trauma, as I mentioned, and then it kicks in. I hope not, but that's all. That is always that possibility. And if it is, then she will be suffering with you, and that'll be extremely frustrating. So I hope I helped some people and explained some things to you. Sorry for the extra 5 minutes. I hope you had a wonderful day listening to some of my information. And next week, Monday, 12:30 p.m., we will have another subject on fibromyalgia and or related items that we have today. Hopefully we'll find some information on that Jesus shot. Hey, listen, take care. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy. Dr. Ken, Fibromyalgia Wellness Center, says have a great time, great day. Thank you so very, very much. If you missed part of this, you can always go back and check it. Each and every one of these are saved. This is number 62. Number 62 every week. Take care. All right. Bye-bye now.